Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vrajani Nirvishesha Siddhamani Ashatani Sattari Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Prabhu Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let me start off by telling you that in the very beginning of our movement, back in the 60s and 70s when Srila Prabhupada was with us, we never chanted Hari Bol. Do you believe that? We never chanted Hari Bol. It was all Hare Krishna. Prabhupada asked me, and I asked 3 of his servants, did you ever hear Srila Prabhupada say Hari Bol? Not once. Not once did he ever say Hari Bol. But when the devotees came back from Mayapur in 74, they heard the devotees here in Bengal chanting Hari Bol. So they asked Srila Prabhupada about it. He says, all the devotees in Bengal, they chant Hari Bol. Should we be chanting that? And Prabhupada said, let them chant Hari Bol. We will chant Hare Krishna and go back to God. But everybody loves chanting Hari Bol. So it's now part of our chanting process. There's hardly ever a kirtan anywhere in the world where you don't hear Hari Bol now. But we can thank our local Bengali devotees influencing the whole movement. Because there's something about it though, it's just a rah-rah, like Hari Bol. Everybody loves it. Hare Krishna is a little too long. You're like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, it goes a little too long. But the Hari Bol, boom, it gets the point across right away. So in the very beginning, first of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Jiva Nath Das, and I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada personally, which is a nice thing. Not everybody gets to say that. I was actually initiated by Srila Prabhupada personally at the New York Rath Yatra, which was the first Rath Yatra in New York City in 1976. So it's a long time ago. And that was the first time that I actually met Srila Prabhupada in person. It was 1976. And I was very lucky to take initiation. So let me just tell you about my initiation for starters. We'll make this a personal thing with a bit of ISKCON history as well thrown in. So I was about to be initiated. And prior to becoming a devotee, I used to play basketball, and I was also in a rock and roll group. So back then, if you were like somebody special, you had a nickname, like a cool nickname, one word, like Rocky or Stretch or, Cher back then. One word, just like saying that name, everybody knew it, and I wanted one of those. I wanted like a cool name, but I really wasn't that good at both of those different things that I did, so I never had that. And my name was Joe. And I thought, Joe, what a stupid name. Joe. And it's like, it doesn't work. Even when I was Bhakta Joe, it still didn't work. So I was thinking here, I'm going to get initiated by a pure devotee. I'm going to get a spiritual name, and it's going to be a cool name that's going to fit me, because I was such a cool guy. So when Prabhupada handed me my beads, he said to me, your name is Jiva Nath. And inside I was having a party. I was going, yeah, woo, all right, I finally got a cool name, I'm Jiva Nath. And I was really excited. And Prabhupada looked me in the eye and he went, Das. Right, sorry, yeah, I guess I'm not the cool. I'm the servant of the cool guy. That's okay too. I'm all right with that. So I was really happy to get this name Jiva Nath, even though I didn't quite understand what it meant. But it was just a nice thing. And I think up until I became what you would call a senior devotee, nobody ever called me by my full name. It was Jeev. Hey, Jeev! Okay, I answered to Jeev. But now that I'm what you call a senior devotee, nobody's allowed to say, hey, Jeev! It's like disrespectful or something, but I still answer to that. So if you want to call me Jeev, why not? I don't care. But my name is actually Jiva Nath Das. And in the very beginning of this movement, do you know that Srila Prabhupada, he never mentioned chanting rounds. He never mentioned regulative principles. Now, most of you are, I'm assuming, following the regulative principles. Yes?
Yes.
That's pretty safe to say. You're all here in Mayapur, usually people who are coming in a yatra type situation, you all follow the regulative principles. So one initiation, this is a few years later after Prabhupada started initiating, he said to the aspiring disciple, what are the 4 regulative principles? So I'll ask you, what are the 4 regulative principles? Speak English?
Yes.
Okay, what are the 4 regulative principles? Loud. And then Prabhupada said to the future disciple, and which one is your favorite? And everybody laughed. Like, that's a funny thing. And the devotee who was about to be initiated was thinking, am I supposed to really answer that? I mean, I really like to listen to sex, but, so that was Prabhupada just having some... So Prabhupada, sometimes he would do that. He would just play with his disciples, and just to see their response. So, of course the devotee didn't answer it, everybody laughed, and then Prabhupada just said, okay, that's okay. You don't have to answer that question. So in the very, very beginning, the first few disciples of Srila Prabhupada, prospective disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada never mentioned about initiation until somebody asked. Finally, one of the devotees said to him, Srila Prabhupada, or Swamiji at the time, I would like to take initiation from you and be your disciple. And Prabhupada said, okay, this is possible, but there are some things you must follow. And this is when Prabhupada introduced the 4 regular principles. Now, while he was speaking to this prospective devotee, there was a room full of about 15 who were coming to Prabhupada's lectures, attending the kirtan in the park. And they were all very interested in becoming disciples of the Swami. So Prabhupada explained that there are regulative principles. He said the first one is no gambling. And all of them were like, okay, that's not a problem. I don't even have any extra money in my pocket. Why would I gamble? Not a problem. We can follow that. And then Prabhupada says, there is no eating of meat, fish, or eggs. Now, most of them were that way inclined, okay? They were like, that's okay, I don't mind. You know, I can give up my fish and my chicken and those burgers, and okay, to be your disciple, I will do that. I will follow that. So we will follow those two regular principles. Then Prabhupada says, there is a third principle, no intoxication. And they're all like, what? Sorry? No, I mean, you realize that that's kind of like our life. That's what we do. We smoke marijuana, cigarettes, drink coffee, tea, drink alcohol, do heavier drugs. And so you're talking about like, don't do heavy drugs. That's what you mean, like no LSD, no cocaine. That's what you mean, Swamiji? Prabhupada says, no tea, no coffee, no cigarettes. Now, out of those 15, 4 of them got up and left. Like, no, that's my life, that's what I do, that's who I am. So they couldn't deal with that. But the others who stayed, they were thinking, okay, we can follow these 3 regulative principles. That's not a problem. It's a sacrifice. I'll give up my cigarettes, I'll give up my coffee. We will follow because we want to take initiation from you. Prabhupada said there is a 4th. He said, no illicit sex. And everyone just went, what? No sex? No sex? How is that? Why? We can't do that. What was the second word he said? Illicit. What does illicit mean? No, illicit isn't sex. Sex, illicit sex, what does that mean? And the Prabhupada said, that means no sex outside of marriage. Now again, 3 or 4 of them got up and left. It's like, we're not giving up sex. That was what we fought so hard, to be different, to have free love. We need these things in our lives. So 4 of them left. But the ones that stayed thought, okay, this is a bit of an austerity, but to follow the Swami, to be able to become a spiritual person, we will give these up. Now, prior to Prabhupada telling them about the regulative principles, they used to come to Prabhupada's class. And when the class was over, they'd go outside and smoke cigarettes. Right outside. And Prabhupada knew they were doing this, but he was like being very patient. They would smoke the cigarette, they'd go down to the coffee shop, they'd have their coffee, they'd discuss the class. Well, yeah, it was pretty amazing what he said, wasn't it? Yeah, right. So they didn't quite have that spiritual edge. So Prabhupada took it very slow. How did he take it slow? He took it slow by giving them prashadam. That was the secret weapon. Now Prabhupada used to cook, serve, and clean up, all by himself. Nobody ever thought, maybe we should help the Swami do something. They were just happy to sit down and the Swami would serve them out. Now they take some prasadam, he puts some chapatis on their plate, a little bit of sabji, a little bit of rice. Then he'd come back and say, here, have some more, have some more, have some more. Meanwhile, they're eating like 9, 10 chapatis, big bowl, big thing of rice, big thing of sabji. And Prabhupada would come back and say, have some more. They'd be like, no, Swami, I mean, that's plenty. Have some more. They give him some more, they give him some. Prabhupada just kept filling them up with prasadam. Then one day, Prabhupada didn't come back and offer them seconds. He just served out one time through and went and sat down. And one of the devotees said, Swamiji, how come you're not serving seconds to us? And Prabhupada says, well, now you are asking very good questions. So he knew the prasadam had worked its magic. Now they weren't just asking questions that made no sense. They were asking spiritual questions. So the prasadam had done its trick. So Prabhupada didn't need to keep filling them up with it. So they were happy with that. So Prabhupada explained that there were these 4 regulative principles. And there's also the chanting on the beads. Now they had beads. Usually they were kind of just big marbles, and they tie string through them. They weren't what we have Tulsi beads. They weren't like that at all. No Tulsi mom. But they were chanting. Now Prabhupada explained, in order to be an initiated disciple. Now, does everybody know, prior to ISKCON, Gaudiya Math, how many rounds they used to chant? 64 rounds. So Prabhupada told this group of young American boys and girls that in order to be initiated, you have to chant 64 rounds. And they were like, what? I mean, it takes me 2 hours to chant 8 rounds, 64 rounds. We'll be chanting like all day long. So Prabhupada, having compassion on these American boys and girls who were just coming out of being in so much Maya, he says, oh, only 32 rounds. And still they were like, oh, 32 rounds. That's like 8 hours worth of chanting. Who can do this? I have to walk my dog, take the cat out, I have to feed the goldfish, I have to do this, I have to do that. So many things I have to do. I do want to be your disciple, but that's like a big ask. So Prabhupada finally said, okay then, 16 rounds. And they were like, okay, I guess we could do that. As we get a little better at this chanting, it'll go a little faster. So maybe, 3 hours, we can do this. So they became disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Now, everybody in life has to make a decision. You have to decide. And a lot of these decisions are pretty black and white. It's pretty easy to decide. Like, you people coming here today, you made a conscious decision to pursue a spiritual activity by coming to Srila Mayapur. You could all be doing something else. You could have had a movie night. You could have, go to the bar and drink. You could do these kind of activities, but you decided to come here. You made a conscious choice. So these choices that we make, they're very important. Just like when a thief goes into a house and steals something, and he's thinking, okay, as long as I don't get caught, then it's okay. If you get caught, well, then you end up going to jail or prison or whatever. So don't get caught. You can still do something that you know is wrong, but don't get caught. Now, once we understand spiritual life, we understand that the supreme authority is inside our heart as Paramatma. So there is nothing we can do that he doesn't see. So we're being watched all the time. What kind of decisions are we making? So this coming to spiritual life is a big step. It's a huge step. You're making a declaration that I want to be a spiritual person. I want to add spiritual life into my life. And just as Krishna instructed Arjuna, you don't have to not be who you are. You just stop the dirty things, the things that are unwanted. You keep your occupation. So one of the big scary things for so many people is if I become a devotee of Krishna, does that mean I give up everything? No, only the bad things. Only the things that are keeping you entangled in this material world. Because that is the goal of spiritual life, is it not? To disentangle ourselves from all material activities and engage in serving Krishna. Now, I've been practicing Krishna consciousness for 47 years, 48 years now. And, that was a big deal for me because I grew up in America. Now, in America, the goal of life is money, house, nice wife, and that's it. You just want a lot of money because that's supposed to make you happy. So to give up that way of thinking and start thinking as a devotee who What is the goal of my life? Is to go back to Godhead, to give up all those desires and simply want to serve Krishna. Now, being from America, in America, we're all brought up to be sense gratifiers. We want, they have an expression, you grab for all the gusto you can. I don't know if gusto translates, but it means get as much out of everything as you can. Like squeeze the lemon till there's not another drop in it. So that's what we want out of life. We want the most of everything. Our supermarkets, you have not a choice, you have 50 choices. If just a loaf of bread, there's like 50 different kinds of bread. A pack of sugar, everything is in so much excess. It's incredible. It's just incredible. It's mind-blowing. And this is what everybody thinks is the goal of life, is to get to America so that you can enjoy so much. When you don't get that opportunity, it doesn't last very long if you do. So try to put that one aside, because sense gratification is so temporary. It's fleeting. Whatever it is, it's over quickly. So that should not be the goal of our life. Our goal should be to pursue spiritual life, to become as spiritual active as we can. So let me ask you, who here chants 16 rounds a day? Quite a few. That's awesome. Every day. That's important. If you don't chant 16 rounds a day, my suggestion, pick a number that you can do and do it every day. If it's 4 rounds every day. Because one of the keys for combating the mind and Maya is to be regulated, to be steady. Just like temple devotees, we rise early every day. Every day. You're up by latest 4 o'clock in the morning. Now that's austere. That's very austere. But if you do it every single day, your mind will surrender. He's getting up. She's getting up. And he won't be yelling at you like they do. Now, when you first start, your mind is saying, oh, just sleep in. Go ahead. It's only 10 more minutes, maybe 20. You'll be so much more feeling refreshed and alive if you did that extra 10 minutes. Which isn't the truth, but that's how the mind likes to play with you. Just turn that alarm off. Don't worry about it. But you will find if you continuously get up, then the mind says, okay, you win. You got me. Get up. I'm cool. I'll get you later. And that's when the mind will kick in later. But for now, I'll let you get up. So this regulation is important in spiritual life. It's very important. So if you're chanting 16 rounds, please continue. If you're chanting 1 round, please continue. If you haven't started chanting yet, please start. Because this chanting is the key. And that's why Prabhupada stressed only a few things. 4 regulative principles and chanting Hare Krishna. And that's really a simple process. Now, we can all go back to Godhead in this life. Do you believe that?
Yes.
You really believe that?
Yes.
You can go back in this life? Really? Wow. That's impressive. Because you should. Prabhupada was once asked, he was asked the question, how many lifetimes will it take me to go back to Godhead? And Prabhupada yelled back, immediately. 1 second. Because it's like flipping a switch. As soon as you flip that switch and everything you're doing is for Krishna, you're on your way back. But who here actually does everything for Krishna? It's very difficult. It's really difficult. Especially if we're brought up to be thinking that we are Krishna. We're like Krishna. We're like God. Look at us. We come out into the material world. everyone looks at us and goes, "She's so cute. She's adorable. Oh, everything you do is glorified, just like baby Krishna." So it's so easy to fall into the trap. Yes, I'm the controller. Look, I go, "Ah!" and everybody runs to me. It's just such an amazing illusion that we can easily fall into. One little yell, if he goes, "Ah!" everybody goes, "Oh, are you okay? Is everything all right?" So we worry about you. And then you're thinking, "Look, I'm in control. All I have to do is go, wah, and everybody runs to me." And that's a really hard illusion to get out of, this thing of thinking, I am in control. Yes, I am the controller. What do you control? Really? Nothing. Are you controlling the air coming in? No. Do you even know what the heck is going on in your body? No. We don't know anything, but we're in this illusion of just thinking, yeah, I am the controller. Now, one of the big things, as I was starting to say, is growing up in America, we're pleasure seekers. I'll have to admit, we really are. We're pleasure seekers. So in order for me to take the spiritual life, I needed pleasure. I needed to really enjoy spiritual life. The first time I went to the temple, it just so happened I went for Mangal Arti. As you know, it starts at 4:30 in the morning. And I was there in the temple. Oh, let me tell you the story. So I knock on the door of the temple. It's 10 after 4. And I'm thinking, this is such a big leap for me because I had just gotten the Bhagavad Gita. I read the Bhagavad Gita, went to the temple, and I was like making a big, big leap of faith because I saw what these guys looked like, wearing sheets with shaved heads. And I was a cool guy, remember? I was like a rock guy, and I played basketball. I thought I was so cool. I don't know, these guys look kind of weird. Look at this guy. But I read the Bhagavad Gita, and I thought, this makes so much sense. It's so logical. Let me just see what those people are really like. So I got to the temple at 4:15. I knock on the door. It's pitch black outside. Obviously, it's a big old house. I knock. Nobody answers. Now I have that choice. Go right back to my car, get in it, and go, that was close. I almost went to the Hare Krishna temple. Or I could say, you know what, I just drove for an hour and a half. Let's find out what these people are like. Knock again. So I knocked again. Now this time, a guy answers it. He opens the door, he's not wearing a shirt. He's wearing a little, looks like what we call in America, a skirt. I mean, it was, pretty colors, he's wrapped around them, and that's all he's wearing. And I'm looking like, okay, this is kind of different. I mean, I understood the sheet thing. That I could make sense with, but this guy's wearing a skirt. Well, it was a gamcha, or a lungi, whatever you want to call it, but, I had never seen this before. So when he answered the door, I was still kind of looking like, oh. He says, oh, Hare Krishna, come on in, you're a little bit early. I said, okay, I can do this, I'll come in. He sits me down, he goes to another room, and he comes back. Now this is 4:15 in the morning. He brings me a little white cup. And inside this white cup is a brown ball. And I, looking at this brown ball, and I can see there's juice dripping from it. I mean, it does look like, I don't know, like a golf ball or something, but it was brown. And I'm just staring at this thing, and he goes, oh, I want you to eat this ball. He didn't tell me what it was. He said, but don't touch it. Pour the ball into your mouth. Okay. Why not? I go, wow! I had a glove jamun at 4:15 in the morning. And it's dripping down the side of my mouth because it was a pretty good sized glove jamun. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And he goes, yeah, you just sit here, everybody will be down in a few minutes, and then we'll go see God. I said, really? I'm going to see God? Wow! Nobody ever says that. I'm going to go see God. So he walked off, went up the stairs, and I was sitting there thinking, man, this is what these guys eat at 4 o'clock in the morning? Wow! That was incredible. And of course, gulab jamun is basically sugar. So I'm sitting there like, I can't wait, this is going to be so much fun. I was really excited. I had a really good sugar high. And I was sitting there, this is going to be so exciting. We're going to see God. We're going to see God. So everybody starts coming down the stairs, and they're wearing the sheets now. And the women are all wearing these beautiful colored, I don't know, garments, some kind of neat thing I'd never seen before. They all go into this temple room. It's pitch black in the temple room. And all anybody is doing is mumbling. They're not talking to each other. They're just walking around going, so it just sounded like a bunch of bumblebees or something. Nobody was talking. They're just walking around going, okay, this is kind of interesting. This is different again. So they're walking around doing this. I'm standing right in the very front, feeling really awkward. And I don't know what's going on. Nobody's talking to me. I'm just standing there. Then all of a sudden, somebody comes out behind a curtain. And I hear this sound. And everyone dives on the ground. What? Is this like an air raid or something? Nobody told me. Why is everybody on the ground? I'm the only one standing, looking around. Like, what happened? Okay, they all stand back up again. The curtain's open. Now I'm going to see God. Now I'm looking. Okay. There's 3. They all have really big eyes. And they're all staring right at me. And I'm staring back. Thinking, this is God. Wow. Now I was ready for the blue guy. Because I saw him on the Bhagavad Gita and in the picture. So this was not the blue guy. One was black, one was white, and one was yellow. And I'm like, what the heck is this? This is God? And it was. Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. Haribol. But that was like a big shock. Come on, you know? I grew up in America. At the best, we could think of God as some guy with a long white beard, wearing a long robe, sitting on a cloud, doing absolutely nothing. That was the best he could come up with growing up in America. If you ask the questions, I went to a Catholic school, and I would ask the question, who is God? It's a mystery, my son. Come on. I can't get into that. Give me an answer. Who is God? Are you going to have to go to the principal's office? What? Isn't that like a normal question to ask? Who is God? I want to know. Prabhupada used to say, we can tell you his mother's name, his father's name, his address. We got all the answers. They didn't have the answers. So I see God. Now, I just happened to be in the Philadelphia temple. This is in 1975. And at that particular Mangal Arti, there was a sannyasi traveling through called Vishnu Janan Swami. You've heard of him, right?
Yes.
Radha traveling Sankirtan party. And he had 12 brahmacharis with him. And Vishnu Janan Swami, at that particular moment in ISKCON history, was the best kirtan guy in the movement. He was ecstatic. He was amazing. And he could just captivate you and make you want to be a devotee simply by his chanting. So this is my first kirtan. My first kirtan. Now, The temple room in Philadelphia was wooden slats, wooden boards, right? So when you jumped up and down on these boards, they kind of had a little give to them, a little play. So the kirtan gets going. The brahmacharis are jumping up and down. Vishnu John is leading, and he's jumping up and down. And I'm standing there, and the boards are starting to bounce me up and down. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to jump up and down. Well, you know, I used to play basketball, right? So I'm looking at these guys thinking, I can jump higher than him. And I'm jumping up, and I'm jumping up, and this kirtan is just so ecstatic. And I was thinking, wow, you eat a glove jump, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, you come in here and you jump up and down and you chant Hare Krishna. I love spiritual life. So I became a devotee. How did I not? Right? The best kirtan, the best food. What am I missing? This is ecstatic. So I moved in. The next week, it took me that long to get it together. I go to the temple. I have one suitcase. That's it. They sit me down in a chair, just like this, right in the next room from the hallway. And they're talking to me. You are now Bhakta Joe. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's kind of cool. Bhakta Joe. I'm Bhakta Joe. And they're talking to me so nicely. Next thing you know, I hear this buzzing sound by my head. I'm just sitting in the chair and I hear this. And I'm looking down, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. You know how long it took me to grow that hair? They didn't even ask me. Nobody even said, hey, Dr. Joe, you want to get shaved up? No, I didn't get that chance to say yes or no. Next thing you know, I'm like, it's gone. It's all gone. But wait, you missed the part. You missed this little bit in the back here. Oh, you're supposed to keep that part. Okay, that's all right there. So now I'm Dr. Joe, I'm shaved up. And I'm like, you know, I guess I'm going to have to go through with this. I'm, you know, got no hair, and now they're putting these sheets on me, and I'm a devotee. This is so nice. The next day, this was a Friday, I moved in the temple. The next day, Saturday, they go, Dr. Joe, do you want to go out on Sankirtan? Never heard the word before. Like, okay, Sankirtan it is. No idea what was about to happen. So they put me in a van, give me a baseball cap, cover my bald head, and they give me a bag full of little small books I'd never seen before. And they put me in a van with 5 other guys, and we go out on Sankirtan, book distribution. Now the van stops at a certain spot, and they say, Bhakta Joe, you get out here. Okay? Who's coming with me? Nobody. You get out here, we'll pick you up at 5 o'clock. That's like 7 hours from now? Yes, you distribute all those books, and then we'll pick you up. So I get out of the van. I'm a little scared, I'll be honest. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, you know, this is my old neighborhood. This is where I grew up. This is where I just came from. I know everybody. Everyone walking down the street, everyone at the traffic lights, they're like, hey, Joe, what are you doing? I take my hat. I'm a Hare Krishna. They're like, what? What do you mean you're a Hare Krishna? I said, oh yeah, I just moved in. I'm a Hare Krishna. So I give him a book. Now, because I've never seen the books before, I'm really excited as I pull them out of the bag, because I don't even know what they are. And I go, Perfection in Yoga. What's it about, Joe? I don't know. But if you read it, you can tell me. They're like, okay. And as I would look through the pictures, I'm going, whoa, look at this. How is this happening? How does it even work? Who has 4 arms? Come on, look at this. That's amazing, isn't it? Easy journey to other planets. What's that about? I don't know. But I was so excited. I was looking at all these pictures for the first time, and it was just blowing my mind. And I'm thinking, this spiritual activity of distributing books is so amazing. You follow that up, you get the club jummings, you get kirtan, you get book distribution, spiritual life. It's not bad. It's blissful. It's ecstatic. I had so much fun distributing these books. I was thinking, and they told me this, they said, Srila Prabhupada would be really pleased if you distribute these books. And I thought, that's the least I can do. I mean, he's giving me the opportunity to be back in the spiritual world. The least I can do is distribute these books. So I distributed all the books in my bag that day. But there's more. The next day at lunch, which is Sunday, we didn't go out. They read out the book scores from Saturday, because that's what Saturday, which is the biggest book distribution day in America. So they're reading out the book scores. And they do it in ascending order. So the lowest score gets read first, and it's going up and up until the scores are getting better and better. So we're at like the fifth highest. And I didn't hear my name. And I'm thinking, I know I did pretty good, but okay, I didn't think I did that good. So it gets up to the number 2 person in the temple. It's Bhakti Joe. And everyone went, Jai! And I said, no, Joe. But if you want to call me Jai now, that's okay. But I was so happy. And I was thinking, spiritual life, it's just full of bliss. If you just surrender to it, it's full of bliss. It's so ecstatic. Now that was 48 years ago. And I'll be really honest with you, I still feel that same bliss 48 years later. I still feel it. If you don't overthink it, if you don't have expectations, you just taste what Krishna gives you. There's so much bliss involved in this Krishna consciousness. Prashadam. Yes, it's hard to beat a glove jumping at 4 o'clock in the morning. But the prashadam, it's otherworldly, isn't it? It doesn't taste like anything we've ever had before. It's special. We've all sung Bollywood songs. You have, I haven't. But we've all sung and danced. But is there anything more ecstatic than a kirtan? What even comes close? And people used to always say to us, what kind of drugs are you guys doing? Because they just couldn't fathom, they couldn't even imagine that you could have so much fun just chanting the same thing over and over again. But the beauty of the Hare Krishna mantra is every time you chant it, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better. Every day it gets better, it gets better, it gets better. Every year it gets better, it gets better. And trust me, that is the truth. It gets better. It's so, I can't tell you how, I know this might sound really crazy, but I can't wait to wake up in the morning and start chanting my rounds. How is that possible? Who's thinking, I can't wait to get up at 3:30 in the morning and start chanting Hare Krishna? That's 48 years later. I still feel that same incredible taste of chanting Hare Krishna. My service here in Mayapur is Harinam Sankirtan. I chant outside the TUBP office from 4:30 to 7 every day but Tuesday. Today's the day off. And people say to me, I'm 70 years old, and people see me out there chanting, and they're going, wow, that's pretty good, because I just lose it. I forget that I'm 70 years old, because when I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm not 70 years old. I'm a spirit soul. And somehow Krishna just says, you go, boy. Just keep chanting and chanting and chanting. Like you mentioned in the beginning, oh, he's so enthusiastic and thing. No, I'm toning it down. I'm trying to be cool and calm. But this energy that you get from chanting Hare Krishna, if you allow it, now that's a big one. If you allow it, because it's so easy to chant Hare Krishna like, okay, Hare Krishna, and that's on kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Or you can be like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, all of you who didn't chant just then, you're sitting there looking at me like, I'm just not understanding what he's talking about. What energy are you feeling? But if you went like this, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. How do you not feel that? Right? How do you not feel that energy? Especially when you have a room full of Vaishnavas. The energy is multiplied. And the louder we get, the more Lord Chaitanya is going, oh, look at these guys. They're really serious about this chanting. They're not mumbling. They're putting some energy into it. So let me put a little energy into giving them a taste. Let me bring them a little bit closer to me so that the taste gets a little sweeter. So that's why it is so very important. When chanting, chant. Don't just go through the motions. You want to go back to God. Who wants to go back to Godhead? Raise your hand. Who wants to go back to Godhead in this life? Raise your hand. Who could care less? I'm sure hope you all want to go back to Godhead. Because Prabhupada used to say that. You can't go back to Godhead in this life. And when people would leave Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada, you could feel it, you could see it. It pained him. He was thinking, oh, you wasted this opportunity. Yes, you're going to get another opportunity, but why waste this one? Prabhupada used to say, you give this one life. One life. Imagine if you've been here for, let's say, millions of lives. What is one life? But if you actually get serious about this Krishna consciousness and give this one life, you could go back to Godhead. You can have a spiritual body full of bliss, full of knowledge. Who doesn't want that? Don't we all want that? I mean, if the process is so simple, it really is simple. Simple for the simple, Prabhupada used to say. Simple for the simple. We don't have to complicate it. When you go back to Godhead, you are not asked how many shlokas you know. All right, what's 18? No. You don't have to know shlokas. All you have to do is develop your love for Krishna. That's all it takes. Now, one time in a class, Srila Prabhupada, and now this is very early on, this is 1972, so they were still very early in the movement. Prabhupada was giving a lecture, and he was talking about becoming Krishna conscious. And he says, in order to go back to Godhead, you must become 100% Krishna conscious. 100% Krishna conscious. And every single devotee listening to that lecture, their mouth opened up and their eyes got wide. Because they're all thinking, 100% Krishna conscious? What am I, like 10% now? 100%? How is that possible? And Prabhupada noticed it. He was looking out, and they're all going. Prabhupada looked and he went, kept talking a little bit longer. And then he said, Krishna, He will welcome you with open arms if you are simply 90% Krishna conscious. And again, devotees were so, how is it possible? How can I be 90%? Because you realize most of them have been devotees 1, 2, maybe 5 years at the absolute most. And they were thinking, this is not possible. But yet Prabhupada is saying we can go back to God. And how is it possible, 90%? So Prabhupada continued the lecture, finished, and was walking off the Vyasa, heading to go up to his room. And he stopped and he says, okay then, Krishna is so merciful because you have given up so much. You only have to be 80% Krishna conscious and Krishna will take you back home. And he walked off. So he didn't see the expression on anybody's face. So they get back to his room, and one of his leading disciples, a sannyasi disciple, of his, said, Srila Prabhupada, even 8%. No, it is so very difficult for us. We've come from such a fallen militia background. It's just not going to be possible. And Prabhupada says, okay then, you simply hold on to the back of my dhoti because I have a key to the back door. So Prabhupada is telling us, how do we hold on to his dhoti? Follow 4 regular principles and chant 16 rounds. It's so simple. And that's all you have to do to go back to Godhead. Because by doing those activities, you will purify yourself to where Krishna will say, yes, you can come back. You've given up so many bad habits. Now I will take you back home. So the process is simple. Prabhupada made it very, very simple. But again, the beauty of this process is that it's not just like, okay, we have to do these austerities, we have to stand on one foot for 10,000 years, we have to do this. No, we don't have to do anything that's austere. Chanting Hare Krishna is not austere, is it? Now let me just do this one more chant and then I'm going to ask you a question. Ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Did anybody just feel pain from doing that? Like, oh, geez, I can't do that again, that really hurts. Or did everybody just go, that was kind of fun, I like that chanting thing, that's what I need. So it's not like it's a painful process. It's not like every time you chant, you're getting like a knife going into your side. Hey, oh! Hey, oh! We're not suffering. This is not suffering. This is not austerity. This is simply a switching of thinking about ourselves to thinking about Krishna. It's such a wonderful process. And the more you get into it, the more you will get out of it. I promise you this. I promise you this. If after, say, how many more years, another 30 years of your chanting, if it didn't work for you, come see me. Of course, I won't be here, but that's beside the point. But I promise you, it works. I promise you. I promise you. I give you the Srila Prabhupada guarantee. He says it works. I tell you, I've been practicing it. It does work. And it's such a simple process. So I really hope that everybody takes this as a little bit of advice coming from Srila Prabhupada. It's coming from Srila Prabhupada. Now we all, I'm sure you all, once you understand ISKCON and you understand Krishna consciousness, you all would love to say, I met Srila Prabhupada. He said to me, well, I met Srila Prabhupada. And I'll tell you how that worked. It just so happened that the night before the Rath Yatra in New York in 1976, I was standing outside the New York temple at 9:30 at night. chanting the rest of my rounds, because I'd been out on book distribution that day. I didn't finish them, so I was out there. All of a sudden, a car pulls up. There's nobody around out there but me. A car pulled up, and Srila Prabhupada got out.
Yeah.
Now, there was not this huge entourage of sannyasis around him. He'd just come from somewhere, I don't know where. Only one devotee got out, his servant, opened the door, and then Prabhupada started walking towards the temple by himself. I was on the path to the temple. And you probably heard this before, but because I'm 6'2", and I don't know what that is in centimeters, like 187 or something like that. Prabhupada was really short. And that was my first thought. My first thought seeing Prabhupada is that he's really short. Because there's something about Prabhupada, you just expected him to be like larger than life. Like just this, 6'10" big person, just was so commanding and so powerful. The general, the leader. But he was only like 5'2", 5'3", he was really short. And then I thought, he really doesn't look like he's from this planet like we are. He just looked like he just stepped out of Goloka Vrindavan. And I was like, it was like a mind-blowing experience just seeing Srila Prabhupada like that. It's so mind-blowing, I almost forgot to pay my obeisances because I was just in awe seeing Srila Prabhupada. So I paid my obeisances, and as I was getting to my knees, Srila Prabhupada was right next to me. And we were almost at eye level. I was on my knees, he was walking. We were almost at eye level. And he looked into my eyes like no one had ever looked into my eyes before. And it's scary. It's really scary. When a pure devotee looks into you, he's not just seeing you, he's seeing inside. He's seeing all your lifetimes, all the nonsense you have in your heart, everything. He sees everything. And the scary thing is you can feel it. You can feel it, like Prabhupada just stripped all this off of you, and here you are, the spirit soul. He sees you and he knows where you're at. And he smiled at me. And he went like that. And I thought, oh my God, Prabhupada saw me. He knows what in American terms, rat bag I am. And he still smiled like it's okay. It's okay now. You're with me. I'll take care of you. And I felt that. And it's funny because I'm 70 years old. And people will ask me questions about things that happened 40-some years ago. I don't remember. I can't see, but that scene I see as clear as anything. I can see Prabhupada pulling up in the car, I can see him walking, I can see him smiling, and I just can't. That's the only image I have from a long time ago that has not gotten cloudy. And I think that's Prabhupada's mercy for me. I kept that vision. I never lost that vision. And I have a few other ones with Prabhupada, but that one is the one that it's just emblazoned in my heart. It's emblazoned in my soul. That Prabhupada looked at me and accepted me. Even though he knew who I was, he accepted me. Now, that is available for everyone. Prabhupada accepts every single one of us. None of us are pure devotees. None of us are on the platform of not having any material desires. We're working on that. But Prabhupada is there to help you at every stage. One story to back that up. Srila Prabhupada had a disciple sannyasi in France who left ISKCON, who left Srila Prabhupada. And he actually turned into a Satan worshiper, a devil worshiper. And he was the leading devil worshiper in Europe. He was famous. Now, it's really hard to even imagine that. I can understand you left ISKCON. Your senses got crazy, you wanted to enjoy, I get that. To become a Satan worshiper? That's bizarre. That's bizarre. And he was dying of some disease in the hospital. Now this story was related by the nurses in his room and the doctors who came in at the final moments. He was lying in bed and he said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you have come." And he left his body. Now this is not just like a Hare Krishna ISKCON story, because the people who told the devotees had nothing to do with ISKCON. Nothing to do. They were simply in the hospital. And they said to the devotees, this guy you knew was a devotee a long time ago. The devotees came to see him. This is what he said at the end. He said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you have come." So Srila Prabhupada showed up for the satanic worshiper who used to be his disciple. Now, you don't think he's going to show up for you if you're following this process? You know it. You know it. Srila Prabhupada will come to get you. He will take you. Srila Prabhupada said, "I will hold your hand and introduce you to Krishna." What do you guys need, right? If that doesn't inspire you, what's going to? So, it's all there for us. We're at the beginning stages, and we might be at the beginning stages for years to come. But, you know the expression, when you're on the ladder heading somewhere, you're on the ladder. We are on the bus back to Godhead. You may not be in first class, but you're on the bus. You're all there. Don't get off the bus. Stay in Krishna consciousness. To whatever degree you are in, stay to that point and then try to get better. And we will all meet one day in that ISKCON in the spiritual world. And Srila Prabhupada will be there to greet us. Okay? Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, does anybody want to say anything? As formal as you like, or as formal as you like?
Actually, ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ଏ ଫର୍ମୁଲା କାମ କରିବ ଲାଗିଲା ତ କାମ କରିବ okay they are telling this formula will work. They have to play.
Okay, let me tell you one story. This is just because I love this one. Prabhupada once gave a lecture at the University of San Francisco. There was about 150 students there. How many are here? About 150, so that works out. There's 150 students at this lecture. And Prabhupada, when he finished the lecture, he said, "Are there any questions?" And not one person put their hand up. And Prabhupada turned to Tamal Krishna Goswami and says, "No questions means no intelligence."
Oh.
So we'll ask it again. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Traffic questions? Sachikanda? Okay, I have a question. Like you said that we all chanted together with so much zeal and enthusiasm, and that was okay. We are not in trouble. But to chant the 16 rounds is not that so easy also.
But who are you chanting with when you chant your rounds? Is it just you, or you think somebody else is there?
I don't know.
It's not a trick question. When you're chanting Hare Krishna, when you're actually purely chanting Krishna's names, it is said that Krishna is dancing on your tongue, right? So try to imagine Krishna dancing on your tongue. I do it every day. It's really fun. I've never seen him do it, but I'm waiting. But I mean, you try to envision Krishna's like saying, "Oh, you're calling to me. That's so nice. Here. Let me dance to what you're saying. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare." Now, the most important thing is to hear, right? That is the most important quality of a Vaishnava, is to be able to hear nicely. So when chanting, don't make it like it's just some routine, some boring routine. Oh, I have to do it. Everybody else is doing it. Here. It's a special relationship you're having with Krishna. It's very intimate, right? Now, when you get really good at it, you will get such a taste from it. You know? Just like Prabhupada once made that joke. He was in his room, And his servant Srila Prabhu came in, and just as he came in, Prabhupada said, "There, 16 rounds." And he put his beat back down. He says, "Now I can do any damn thing I want." And he was making a joke. It's like, chanting isn't just like, okay, 16 rounds finished, done, put the beat back away, woo, now I can do anything I want. No, it's just like this chanting is a taste that we should be relishing it more and more. And as you get older, maybe you chant more rounds, but maybe you're doing so much service that's fine too. Prabhupada had a disciple named Jayananda who just worked and worked and worked. And he was like one of the oldest devotees in the movement. Literally, he joined when he was in his 30s or 40s, which was very rare in the very beginning. But he worked. He fixed the cars, he did the garbage, he was a servant. And he understood that. And one time he was and he wouldn't come to Prabhupada's darshan. Because he wanted to be doing something. He didn't want to just be sitting around all the time. He wanted to do something. He didn't just follow Prabhupada around like most everybody did. He wanted to do service. So one time they made him go to the darshan. Prabhupada asked for him. Said, "Go get Jayananda." So they brought him in. He was standing there and he's falling asleep. He's so tired. And Prabhupada says, no, let him sleep. I mean, you're standing in front of your spiritual master. And Prabhupada says, no, let him sleep. He works so hard. So our goal is service. Chanting Hare Krishna is service. Don't think that's not service. You're serving the holy name when you chant. When you're on kirtan, you are serving the holy name. And if you have other service, making garlands or cleaning the floor, it's all the same activity. It's all service. So Prabhupada wanted us to be engaged. For us Americans, like for me, my first day, book bag, out on the street. No question of being mental about it. I got shaved up, whether I liked it or not. I was out doing book distribution, whether I liked it or not. I got a glove jump, whether I liked it or not. So that was the program that Prabhupada instituted. He wanted us to be engaged. And you see like here in Mayapur, up until recently, His Grace Jiva Nath Prabhu, he's always doing something. Always. Where's Srinivas? Always back there. He's doing something. He always wanted to be engaged in service. He's not into getting, glorified and being the limelight and sitting on panels like this or something. That wasn't Jananivas. He almost had to force him into speaking. He just wanted to serve. And so that is the mood of a Vaishnava. We want to serve. Because the more we want to serve, the less we want to serve ourselves. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll try to implement this. Anybody else has a question? Please come to the front.
So when you speak, say your name and how many rounds you chant, and be honest.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My name is Anshuman and I do 16 rounds daily.
How long?
For 1.5 years.
Nice, thank you.
So my question is, so you chose in your recent joining, like 1 week, you chose to join the ashram. So it wasn't so difficult for you, I just see. So your past habits, doesn't you pull back in this consciousness?
Say that slowly. I missed it.
The past habits, I think past habits, past things didn't pull you back in that.
Well, of course they did. That just happens. I mean, because it's like I went to war and I was on the battlefront. Now, once the war was kind of subsided a bit, then the other stuff crept in. So I had to battle with Maya as well. I had a big battle. I got married. Next thing you know, I wasn't chanting my rounds every day. I stopped going to the temple. My work was far away. So Maya crept in. But I always had it in my mind that you will work very hard. You will make money. You will retire, and you will live in Mayapur. And Krishna fulfilled that desire. And because I was sincere. I've always been sincere, but I was never like a pandit. I couldn't, give you 100 good shlokas. But my heart was becoming purified by this chanting. So I always chanted a little, but I did stop chanting. So Maya did sneak in and get me. I wish I could say that that never happened. I'd probably be, the GBC somewhere right now, but I'm not. Because I did deviate a wee bit. And I did stop chanting my rounds for a number of years. I just chant a little bit here and there. But I always had that goal. That was always my goal. You're going back. It's just, how is this going to happen? How am I going to arrange this? And then when it became clear that I could arrange it in such a way, I came to Mayapur, and I've been here for the last 6 years. So, but Maya will get you. Don't worry about it. Trust me. That's why it says, the happiness and distress is like the summer and winter seasons. Is that this happiness comes and distress comes. So we can't get too happy or too distressed. We just have to try to stay even. But if you fix your barometer on a nice level of enjoying Krishna consciousness, you can maintain that no matter what. Does that make sense? That's the way I say if you're chanting 4 rounds, or how many rounds everybody who's not chanting, maintain that. Because that gives that foundation that you can grow on. Now, for me, I've always been like an excitable person. I guess you could use the word passionate. I've always been, when I want to do something, I do it. That's why I moved in a week. So this is it. This is what I want to do. And that's why, like, for now, I love doing Harinam. I love chanting. And because I had this desire to be a rock and roll star, Krishna's fulfilling this. I have an electric kirtan band that we travel around, and I'm the lead singer. And I'm not just the singer, I'm an entertainer. I put on like a show, I talk to people, I get it, and I get everyone chanting. And Krishna knows, you can do this. Not everybody can do this. I can do that. And Krishna's allowing me to do this. So you find this skill that Krishna has given you, whatever it is, and you allow that skill to be used in Krishna service. You will enjoy your Krishna consciousness unlimitedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Of course, Prabhuji may not be the GBC, but it doesn't matter to us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your kind association for all this time. Already, Prabhuji has his street Sankirtan also going every day, and we all can join that in the evening if we can.
Every day but Tuesday.
Yeah, that's all right. So we can have that association also again. And Prabhuji, we wanted that all the devotees who came, because most of them came for the first time or second time. So if they can receive a book of His Divine Grace from your Lord's hands, I'll just call out the names. All can come through these stairs. Okay, with the family. If you are alone, come alone. So I'm calling and you can come alone. Roji Sahu Mataji. Side by side, I think a small kirtan can slowly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Continue chanting. Okay, sounds good. Banalata Patnaik, Prasanna Patnaik. Supasmita Dole, Parvati Dole, Namarva Dole. Nilati Vishwa. Nikanjali Mishra. Rupati Lohamitra Kutagalya. Namita Mishra, Sudokna Mahabhadra. Namita Mishra, Sudokna Mahabhadra. Pratima Priyadarshini Sethi. Pratima Priyadarshini Sethi. Suresh Chandra Mishra, Anupama Pavitra Mohan Patra, Nadiri Patra. Ipirni Senapati. Ipirni Senapati. Murali Dole. Murali Dole and family. Murali. Murali Dole and family. Suresh Chandra Subhuti, Amaravati Subhuti, Prasmita Patra. Suresh Chandra Subhuti. Abhinav Subhuti, Sandhyarani Subhuti, Pramod Kumar Subhuti, Yonani Patra. Vishaka Subhuti. Vinayak Behra, Manorama Behra. K. Jagannath Subhuti, K. Patanti Subhuti. K. Jagannath Subhuti, K. Patanti Subhuti. Vijay Kumar Senapati, Manakarata Senapati. Sanjay Subhuti, Jasoda Subhuti. Jasoda Mataji's daughter and daughter. Jasoda Mataji, along with her family. Sanjay Gopinath Prabhu. Vijay Kumar Sarangi and Meena Kumari Sarangi. also there. Personal point out विजयलक्ष्मी खड़े, राजलक्ष्मी खड़े, औलखा खड़े। विजयलक्ष्मी खड़े, औलखा खड़े, आओ राजलक्ष्मी। भद्रमूर्ति माताजी, हिमाचल प्रभु and प्रजनंदन। नीलमणि प्रभु, निर्मला साहू, नीलमणि कृष्ण प्रभु, माताजी। देवप्रसाद महाजी, आदिपंग गौड़, मधुसूदन दास, पुष्पा दास। सरस्वती प्रधान, मीनाक्षी पात्र, मीनता माताजी, शिवानी पात्र, श्रीपाद, प्रणति प्रधान। Come on together, मीनता माताजी and अभिलाष गुरु, अंशुमन करो, कान्होचरण प्रधान, वीरेंद्र पाल, सत्यजीत महापात्र, सुरेश कुमार स्वामी, राधाचरण प्रभु, लक्ष्मीकांत मलिक, बानावर महापात्र, मिलन कुमार साहू, शंभुनाथ मेहरा, बलभद्र प्रधान, सुधीर रंजन पात्र, सस्मिता नायक, सुधीर रंजन पात्र, सस्मिता नायक, गौरांगी माताजी, प्रकाश महतो, प्रकाश महतो, कोयल महांती, चेतना प्रसाद, प्रकाश महतो, कोयल महांती, चेतना प्रसाद, Lily Sahu and family, Lily Sahu and family, Ambedkar Sahu, Chanchara Sahu, all of them. Lily Sahu and family, they're there. Krishna Prasad Tripathi and his mother, Krishna Prasad Tripathi and his mother. Okay. Sidnarayan Senna, Doctor Sidnarayan Senna and Doctor Jayamala Sahu. Sabita Purna Mataji Daksan. Jyotirmay Mahaya, Susanti Devuri, Jyotirmay Mahaya, Susanti Devuri, Suprasmita Sahu, Suprasmita Sahu, Puspalata Sri Chandan, Damayanti Sri Chandan, Puspalata Sri Chandan, Damayanti Sri Chandan. Rohit Gowda, Prabhati Gowda, Rohit Gowda, Prabhati Gowda. Rohit Gowda, Prabhati Gowda, Sagar Bala Jena, Panakalata Jena, Sagar Bala Jena, Panakalata Jena, Saudamini Deoria, Damayanti Deoria, Saudamini Deoria, Damayanti Deoria, Geeta Nath, Pragya Santoshi, Nath Pragya and Geeta Nath. Anyatama Karo, you already do that thing. Whatever, others come. Prabhati Behera, distributor Prabhati Behera, Gaurav Agrawal, Gaur Nayak Prabhu, Krishna Kanti Mataji and Vansika, Rashmita Dade, Hira Dade, Urmila Dade, you all came. Urmila Dade and Ramamani Dade, already you came, I think. If not, no. Nachiketa Sahu, Sailabala Sahu, Snigdharani Sahu. Amya Samanta, Anita Samanta, Amlan Samanta, Anubhav Samanta. Jayanti Babu, Babu Kurti. Pratyusha Mahanti, Anima Mahanti. Pratyusha Mahanti, Anima Mahanti. Prabhu Datta Parida, Geeta Rani Swami. Geeta Rani Swami, Prabhu Datta Parida. Bhuvani Dole, Bhakti Rakshak, Vijay Sri Das, and Vijay Sri's mother-in-law. Bhuvani Dole, Vijay Sri and mother-in-law. Jiva Nath Das, Jiva Nath Krishna Das, Shastravati Das. Jiva Nath Krishna and Satyavati. Deepti Mai Das, Deepti Mai Das, Srimati Bhakya Das, Dipti Das, Smriti Lodia Das, Smriti Lodia Das, Sumitra Acharya, Samikya Pandit, Sumitra Acharya and Samikya Pandit. How can I get Samyani Srila? Nana Vallari had a video. And Valeta? Srila Korea Singh. Jiva Nath and Abhishek Guru Yulwa. Did I leave anybody's name? Please tell me. I forgot. Okay. Can I sign it?
चालू 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 एक ही से बोलो
Abhishek Guru, Abhilash Guru we took it. Yes, okay. Abhilash Guru and Abhishek Guru.
यार से नहीं
For Vaishnava Prashadam, and we want to give them this that's something like what is called. Okay.
बोजी
महाप्रभु संन्यास
बोजी
तो काली दी जन भक्त नित्यानंद प्रभुଙ୍କର वेडिंग रे विवाह रे भोज देले आ जने देले चैतन्य महाप्रभुଙ୍କର संन्यास रे दी जन भक्त देले तणो आसंता काली अछि कोन आसंता काली दी जन मध्य दरकार जोटी कि हमर नित्यानंद प्रभुଙ୍କର चोराचोरी महोत्सव करते पाणिहाटी काली यात्रा करिया सेठी जो माने प्रसाद विश्व रघुनाथ गोस्वामी प्रसाद प्राप्त होइतले कृपा लाभ करले कार नित्यानंद प्रभुଙ୍କର समस्त वैष्णव मानको से भजन दिसले एवं नित्यानंद बेले दिन बेला तो देई गेला एदले के रघुनाथ गोस्वामी केतो रात्रि के दो राघव पंडित एटा बनो तो संध्या बेले जे दो से होते राघव पंडितଙ୍କର कृपा लाभ करिवे नित्यानंद कृपा लाभ करिवे तो आसंता काली ये सुयोग समस्त प्राप्त हो सेति पे समस्त रेडी जो माने भाग्यवान से माने चांस देबे हरे कृष्ण वर्तमान
yesterday जे प्रसादम स्पॉन्सर करथिले तांको आमे डाकिला सुभस्मिता धरी माताजी जणे व्यस्त अछन आमे व्यस्त अछन ओके आवडेला मुरली धरी प्रभु
गोटे फैमिली
हरे कृष्ण Okay, 10 minutes. Can we do something? Yeah. We'll have grand dancing Sankirtan.
Can we start now?
Yes, she'll the next. She'll take one. Subhasmita Dhani, she also sponsors. Okay. So, before we start Sankirtan, let me also. There is some Mahaprasad for his guest Jiva Nath Prabhu and some Mahatulasi and some Vastra of Abhishek of Sri Radha Gopinath. Guest Jiva Nath Prabhu ki Jai, Prabhupada ki Jai. Let's join the Sankirtan now.
एरा जागा कौन कोड़ी जो नाचिया पे माताजी अरे ट्रेन में हम एडा का धरे ये एडा एडा की धरियो एडा तोर ना काई तुम्हें नाचिबा को जाऊ छथि मता था हरिओम मन किसका परे से नॉर्मली कॉमन में
I don't know if anybody has heard, but there's this one recording. It was in New York. And Srila Prabhupada was there. Vishnu Janam Swami, who I mentioned earlier, was there. He was leading the kirtan. And about 2 mantras into it, Srila Prabhupada started chanting. He took over the kirtan. And everybody in the whole kirtan just went crazy. It was just so incredible. So there's nobody's going to be taking over from me, but we're going to start. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vijayate Sirvesha Dunyavani Asatani Sadarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vijayate Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I think we can do better than that. I really do. We're kind of warmed up. We're fired up. Let's put a little energy. How do we say loud in Oriya? Same thing. Oh, it's the same as Bhagavad. Jiva! Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hare, 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 Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. This time, the men will sing the Hare Krishna. The women will sing the Hare Rama part. We understand? Yes. Men. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, that was really well done. But now we're going to do it a little differently. Every other. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Do we get that? Yeah! You figure it out? Whoa, smart. Okay, ready?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,
Together!
Hare Krishna.
Did you say together in Korea, Shabbat? Same thing, Shabbat? How do you say Namaste? Namaste. Namaste. Together, all together. Namaste! Hare
Okay. Now you know we're in West Bengal, right? West Bengal, like I said in the very beginning, love Haribol. I like Haribol too. I've been living here for 6 years, so I like Haribol. So this time I'm going to get you to say Haribol. But there's a catch. When you say Haribol, you have to jump up and down. Oh. Am I asking too much? Do we understand that? Now, I don't know how this translates to Oriya, but in Bengal I say, Shavai Hataloon, which means put your hands up. That's Bengali for put your hands up. Now, when you say Haribol, what are you going to do? Everybody? Yes. Now, those of you who are really, really transcendental, watch the fans. You can hover above, but don't touch the fan. Okay? Yes. Who's the most transcendental person here? Don't touch, don't hit the fan. Don't hit the fan. Be really careful. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
How do we say Maria? Hands up. That's too hard. Just because you put your hands up. Put your hands up. You ready? Haribo! Do I need to speak slower? When I say Haribo, you say Haribo and jump up and down. Haribo! Who can jump? Anybody? Haribo! Can you get off the ground? Yeah. How old are you? You can do it. I'm 70. Yeah, I can do it. She said she'll do it? Okay. Haribo! Get off the ground. No excuses now for anybody else. Haribo! 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 Okay, one more thing. Who's the best dancer out of all the men? Who is? Amritesh? You're the best dancer. Is he the best dancer? Yeah! Okay, then some names. Like it's slow or fast? Slow. Sorry, fast. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, I want you to do something a little different. I think you do that one all the time. Now, everybody, it's up to you to follow Amritesh, okay? Whatever he does, you have to do. Are you ready? I want to see some variety, a little bit of expression. Express yourself, okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Fair play. Who's the best woman dancer? Who's the best? You're up. They're all pointing to you. Who are you? Don't be embarrassed. It's all about the Lord, right? Not about us. Okay, what's your name? Yeah. You're a good dancer. Now, she is representing all the Mahajas, right? She's number one. Not easy. Not easy. You ready?
मुझे इसे यहाँ पर लगा
Remember
ये यहाँ पर लगा देंगे
Ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, that's your normal dance. I get that, right? I want to see something different. Different. You have to use your creativity for Krishna. You ready? Something different. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Okay, thank you. Like that. Thank you. That was easy. That was easy. Okay, I've only got two more tricks up my sleeve. Can all the men come down here? Right here? Everybody come down right here. And women, same thing on this side. Come down, come down. Actually, why don't we all come up on the stage? All the men up on the stage. Now we're going to sing real slow because I'm hearing how good you all are, okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All right, off the stage.
That was good. That was good. Mataji. Everybody off. Everybody off. Quickly, quickly, let's go. Let's go. Get the idea, right? You understand? Yeah, we're going to start out. I want to hear how pretty everybody's voice is. All right? Are you ready? We'll let these guys keep coming. Nice and slow and easy. A little bit of volume, Jade. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Out.
Sorry,
Mataji's right here. Mataji's right here. Right here. Right here. Stay right there. Stay right there. Okay, this is the final one. Okay. Are we all ready? This is it. This is the final chance. And whatever you have, please don't sit down though. You can't sit down. No sitting. No sitting. Does everybody know the difference between kirtan and bhajan? Bhajan means you can sit down nice and quiet and just. Kirtan is what Lord Chaitanya advised us to do, especially here at Srila Mayapur. And that's to chant as loud as we possibly can. So not only everybody in the room is benefited, all the insects, the birds, the trees, the flowers, everybody takes benefit from hearing the holy name. Okay? So that's why we chant as loud as we possibly can. Okay. Who's going to start off? You? Or you? One of you is going to start singing. Who's it going to be? You're the man?
Hare Krishna.
I really am. After all that, then you're giving me a come on. You know this is like the last little bit. So whatever you have left, let's put it out there, okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. We actually miss one devotee. So, she who inspires all over the congregation and inspires mainly the Matajis to come to Krishna consciousness, almost a propagator and beginner of this information. So let us welcome my dear Indumati Radhika Mataji. Okay, so we have some more energy to thank Jiva Nath Prabhu. Yes. So let's do it right. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
समस्त प्रभु प्रणाम करंतु उपविचार जल्दी हमें हाँ we'll take one comment for the प्रभु with you. Hare Krishna.